you have to pay for pollution. So pollution is a pretty nasty thing. If you take a look at the 1970s, 1980s, we had leaded gasoline. That lead pollution caused a whole bunch of problems. If you take a look at crime levels in the 1980s and 1990s, they were super high. Lead is like a neurotoxin. It lowers IQ by maybe 5, 10 points. It increased the amount of violent crime, which is a pretty big problem. So we had to clean that stuff up over time. And there's other things. Chlorofluorocarbons depleted the ozone layer. That caused problems. And acid rain too. Not all of them had a price, but we were able to fix up some of that pollution. Now, if we look at carbon dioxide and global warming, we can estimate about how much the damage that's done by carbon dioxide. Some people say it's about $85 a ton, maybe a little bit more than that. And that is the amount of damage that burning and emitting a ton of carbon dioxide can do to the environment. We're talking about the whole globe. Now, if you put, say, a $50 a ton price on carbon emissions, coal, when you burn a ton of coal, you're going to emit about 3 tons of carbon dioxide. So that means that you'd have to pay $150 for the carbon pollution from burning that coal. That's a lot of money. All of a sudden now coal goes from a relatively cheap source of energy to one of the more expensive ones. So businesses and investors and people who use energy, well, they naturally shift to using something else, something that's cheaper. You're kind of using the value of something, the dollar value, as like a universal language to communicate the value of something. When you screw with the language, when you screw with money, you don't include all the costs. We make weird decisions. We do different things. But the problem is we like not having to pay for stuff that we like. If you drive a car, you're used to getting free parking when you go to the store, when you go out. You're going to be super upset if tomorrow every parking spot in America had a price on it to pay for the land and all the costs of that parking space. It's not free. It's bundled into the cost of everything that we buy. It's bundled into the cost of real estate. So we subsidize parking. We kind of like that. Getting rid of those subsidies, that lack of pollution pricing, is a really hard sell. People don't want to have to pay for this. Now, if you look at Europe, they do have a carbon price. They can create kind of a club that negotiates a specific level of carbon pricing, and then they could use a tariff on imported goods that don't have a carbon price, and then different nations could kind of cooperate to get to that point where they have a price on carbon, and it would encourage other countries to use some sort of a carbon price too, or to at least reduce their emissions. This is a very difficult thing, but using money to communicate the value of something, the value of pollution or the damage that pollution does, would make things a heck of a lot easier.